So let's talk first of all about this idea of this green benchmark. So it's in your document. How many people, as you started in your greening process, actually documented what your starting energy level on a nominal basis, so either per square foot or square meter or dollar of sales or whatever? How many people did that? Okay, so how did you go about doing that?
Well, basically, you look at your bills. Look at your usage on your bills.
Yeah.
So look at your kilowatt hours with regards to your hydro. And for instance, I actually had hydro up because I'm looking at my kilowatt hours and I'm going, there's no increase in usage, and yet the bill's gone up 60%. Help.
Yes.
What the heck is going on?
And what did they tell you?
The HST doesn't account for
Yes.
60%.
Yes.
It may account for, 8%.
Yes. Yes.
If
Exactly.
you want to be really precise.
Yes.
It's there's actually been some cost increases.
Yeah.
And it's going to get worse as of July 1 when we get time of use into play. I mean, how many people are going to be serving breakfast at 4 o'clock in the morning? I don't think the hydro guys are even working at that time.
Yeah.
So if you decide you're going to close down during the day and open up only, after 9 o'clock, I think we're all going to be in trouble.
Yeah. Did you find out what the 60% was?
It's cost.
Yeah.
Fees.
Yeah.
User fees, government surcharges,
Yeah.
reclaiming, there's some reclaiming
Because it's good.
stuff.
It's important to look at those bills because, first of all, hydro makes mistakes all the time. Like all the time. They make millions and millions of dollars.
780,000 of those new meters that have had to be replaced or repaired since their installation.
Yeah.
So there's a problem.
Yeah, and even before those meters, they made errors all the time. There are companies in Toronto that work with bigger businesses that they have 4 businesses where they've saved them $1 million annually just in errors that hydro has made on their bills. Number 2, there's kind of this whole peak use. So as you're starting up in the morning, if you put a lot of load into the system, if you can kind of keep that smooth it out, and start turning on all the lights and all of the heating and all the air conditioning equipment all at once, so that you can decrease your peaks. That would help an awful lot. So that's another area. And so you were looking at, do you have gas as well?
I guess as well.
Yeah.
Right down, we're putting in a new hood vent system.
Yeah.
And we've got a very old building. I think it's older than Dan's.
Yeah.
And it's, so insulation's poor, windows are poor. It's got an archaic hood vent system that we're freely on our own, not being forced to replace it because we can do better.
Yeah.
It'll help with our air conditioner costs, will help with our heating costs in the winter.
Absolutely.
So part of this system is a make-up air system.
Yeah.
So right now I've got an engineer working on, because he wanted to put more hydro into the building. I said, whoa, we're not doing that. There's other ways. I've got heat in the building already that's not being used. How about we warm up that make-up air?
Absolutely.
using that? So what we're actually going to do is run some venting and the air pipes for the make-up air system underneath the hood, where we've got heat coming up inside the hood
Excellent.
that will warm that makeup air.
Wonderful.
Reducing the cost of having to put a heater on the makeup air system. So little things like that can make a big difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. So good point. So I think, measuring your current use, this form actually will allow you to create it in a nominal way. So, you've got electricity coming in, you might have gas coming in, you might have other forms of oil that you're using on your system. Using this form, you can convert it all to gigajoules and sort of see, okay, for your restaurant as a whole, per square foot or per square meter per year, this is what our cost is, and then compare that from year to year. And just to give you an example, on average for full-service restaurants, the intensity is, so the amount of gigajoules that you would use, let's say, per square meter per year would be somewhere between 3 and 10. So if you fall outside that, you're way offline and you need to bring that in line. For fast food restaurants or for smaller restaurants, it might be between 5 and 12. And why do you think there'd be a difference between sort of full-service restaurants and more fast food restaurants in terms of the energy usage per square foot per year? We're going to talk a little bit in a few minutes about where the energy goes within your restaurant. But what
Fast service higher, opening and closing the door.
yes, that's definitely
You
one
wanna
of them.
Make sure those doors are open and closed.
Yes.
You want to make sure your takeout window's always open.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because that's your business. You're
Yeah.
pushing cars through, you're not really serving the food.
And there's an awful lot less dishwashing going on as well. You know, we've got a lot more disposables, so therefore we don't have the energy associated with heating water, which is a pretty significant piece of what you're doing as well. So the water baseline as well, having that, having an understanding of what your water usage is, again on a nominal basis, maybe per dollar of sales or per square foot. So that you can see how it changes year to year. Probably per sale makes sense, because if you've got your business increasing, you don't want to be thinking that you're using too much water compared to how much money you're making if you're getting more business. And then on the second page of that is a discussion about waste and waste audits. Has anybody here ever done a waste audit? Yes? So tell us about that experience.
Well, my staff may not have liked it. The waste audit actually happened as a result of I happened to look in recycle bins, and then I happened to look in the garbage bin, and stuff that should have been in the recycle bin was in the garbage bin. So we actually pulled everything out and had a look at what should be where and what is recyclable and what's not, because a lot of, you know, you just kind of look at it and go, and they're filling up the dumpster, which is going into a landfill site, with stuff that should have been going into recycle. It also helps when you're looking at, you know, say we're a breakfast joint in the morning and we're a dinner joint at night.
Yeah.
And look and see how much food is being scraped off those plates. You're probably serving too
much,
which is costing you money, so you could increase your profits by putting a little less on that plate.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's the small things that can make a big difference.
Yeah, yeah, excellent.
We took our waste from 1 pickup a week to 3. We get it done every 3 weeks now.
Wow.
But when I inquired with my waste company about putting a cardboard in, I've dealt with companies so many years, and the salesman trusted me and said, don't bother, it all ends up in the same place. So why should I pay the extra cost? He said, don't waste your money.
Except cardboard's cheaper than garbage.
It all ended up in the same place.
Your dump fees on cardboard is cheaper than your dump fees on garbage.
Yeah.
Your dump fee on recycle is cheaper than your dump fee on, than your lift fee on your garbage. So you might as well recycle as much as you can.
Yeah.
You'll save yourself some money. I've actually saved, just in our garbage costs, $300 a month in the past 6 months.
Wow.
You can save an awful lot. I think the best thing in Ontario
We're all
was
crooks, eh? So.
I think the best thing in Ontario was recycling the bottles, wine bottles, because that's our biggest. We're a different restaurant than yourself. But with I noticed that with the bottle collection, it cut out 1 week of garbage per week. So it's 52 weeks a year. So we saved quite a bit right away.
That's terrific. So as you can see, you know, from listening to people who've gone through this path, I'm so glad you guys are here, that you can actually save quite a bit of money by paying attention and managing and monitoring these things. And the fact that you're able to talk about how much you're saving, and the fact that you've actually done these baseline is the important part, because it will also help you as you're implementing it with your staff, because then you have a story to tell and people can see that what they're doing really does make a difference.
Put it in direct relationship with their wages.
Yes.
You can save $3,600 a year on garbage. You're going to give your staff an increase in salary.
Can you go back to telling me how you do the cardboard that it makes it cheaper?
Lifting a cardboard versus lifting garbage is cheaper.
The cost of hauling it away.
You should be paying the same amount to lift cardboard as you are to lift garbage.
Yeah, definitely not.
If you are, then you're getting raped.
Yeah.
And this is a garbage thing. This is, I mean,
And sorry, so you're saying you're only having your waste material
Picked up every 3 weeks
every
now.
3 weeks?
So our typical energy profile for a restaurant is lighting, for full service restaurants, lighting about 23%, heating about 23%, hot water because of all the washing of dishes about 50%, and cooling about 40%, compared to fast food, and this is coming out of NR the Natural Resources Canada. Fast food, where heating is so much higher, or is higher, and we talked about the opening and closing of doors and takeout windows and that sort of thing, where lighting is higher. Why would lighting be higher in some of those fast food restaurants?
The signs up front.
Oh, signs, that's one thing. I can think of something else too. Yes, absolutely, the intensity of the light. Yes, exactly, heat lamps.
Cooking food rather than cooking food.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that's a
Heat
very
lamps
good point.
suck a lot
Yeah,
of
a lot of
power.
Yeah, yeah. Hot water only 8% because they're not washing the dishes that we are in full service, and cooling about 9%. And so you can see the kind of the differences and the impact of the way you run your operation.